Hello and welcome to the second part of the Chrome Dinosaur tutorial. Here we will finish making the game. Hello, so next we're going to set up a score system so that we can see the score of our player and also his high score. So to do this we want to head over to the side scroller character and we just want to click this new variables tab and we'll just call this score. And we need to change this variable type to be a float so that it can be a number that we can show on the screen. So we just click compile, we can now see that it says score and then this can be the value of our score. I'm going to do the same thing for high score, so you just want to click new variable and I'll just call this my high score. And I'll just compile and close this. So next we're going to set up two HUDs which are going to be shown on our player screen. The first HUD will show the player's high score and his current score, and the second HUD will be shown when the player hits an obstacle and gets game over. Right click, look for user interface, widget blueprint. So this will just be a user interface which is shown on the screen of our game. So I'll just select it and I'll call this one score underscore widget blueprint. And then we can double click to open it up. Then under palette, I'm going to look for a horizontal box. And this is going to show the score that my player has. Then as we can see there's this white flower. And what you want to do is anchor it to where your horizontal box is going to be. This will just ensure that it is in this location when it's displayed on the screen and it will just fit a range of different screens. And then under the palette, we're going to look for text and then drag in this text to our horizontal box. So this first text, I'm going to make it say high score and then colon, and then we're going to drag in our text. So I'm just going to move mine slightly here. Then I'm just going to Control C and Control V into the canvas panel and create another one of this. And this one is just going to display the score of my player. So one will show the high score, one will show the score. So to make this show the score that my player has, I'm going to click bind, create binding, and then what we can do is we can cast to the side scroller character, and this needs an object reference, otherwise it won't compile. And the object we're going to get is we're going to get the player character. And then from here, we can get the high score variable, which we created in our side scroller character, and just plug it in. And this will display it as a number to this HUD. So you can just compile. And then we want to head over to the designer. And this is just going to display the score. So I'm going to select this text and change it to score. And then this text box, we're going to click bind, create binding. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to cast to our side scroller character. As the object, we're going to get the player character. And then we're going to get the score and display this. So now we can display this on the HUD and it will show our high score and our normal score. So these are both anchored correctly. So now we're going to set up a HUD which will show when we get game over. So we're going to right click, look for user interface, widget blueprint, and call this game over underscore widget blueprint. We'll double click and open it up. And then under palette, we're going to look for text. And I'm just going to call this text game over. And then under anchor, I'm going to select it middle because I want this to be like in the middle of the screen. And we can also change the size of the font, so I'm make mine much bigger, 138, and just move it. So I'm going to move it actually to the top, so I'm going to the top. And then we're going to create a button. So a button will allow us to interact and click on it. So I'm just going to create this button, and I want to anchor it to the middle. And then we can drag a text onto this button, so we know what it does. So I'm going to drag my text, put it on my button. And then I'm going to make this text click retry so the player can retry. And then if we just select this button, we can scroll down and click on clicked. So when the player clicks this button, we're going to get the current level that went in. So get current level name, and then we're going to look for open level, and we can just plug this in to that. And now it will open the level that our player's in once this screen showed. So next, if we head over to the side scroller character, we're going to make it show our HUD. So to do that, we're going to right click, look for event begin player. We are going to create a widget, and this widget is going to be the score widget that we just made. Then we're going to add it to the viewport so that our game can see it. And now I click compile and play. You can see there's a high score and a score. So that our score counter continuously goes up. After we've added it to the viewport, what we're going to do is we're going to look for set timer by event. And I'm going to make this 0.1 seconds. So every 0.1 seconds it's going to do this event. To make sure that it does this every 0.1 seconds, we need to make sure that we check this looping box. And the event it's going to do is this event. So of this we want to drag and look for custom event, and I'll call this increase score. And what it's going to do is, first we're going to get our score variable, and then we're going to plus float. So we're going to get our score plus 1, and then we're going to set our score value to be that. So effectively, every 0.1 seconds we're going to be adding our score. So I'll just click compile, play, and now we can see every 0.1 seconds my score is continuously increasing. So next we're going to set up so that we can get game over, and it will stop counting the player's score, and it will show the game over HUD we've done. So to do that, I right click, look for custom event, and I'll call this game over. And I'm going to create a new variable, and we're going to make sure it's a boolean, and I'll just call this my game over. I can't name it because I've called the custom event that, so I'm going to call it game over B. And as soon as game over is true, as soon as we call the game over event, I'm going to set this game over variable to be true, and we just want to compile. And it's important we do that because we want to stop counting the player's score and adding to it if the game is over. So we're gonna, to do this, we're gonna create a branch, and the condition is gonna be get. So we're gonna get game over. So this is gonna be the condition of the branch. And if game over is true, we want to do nothing. We want to stop counting the player's score. But if game over is false, then we're gonna continue to increase our player's score. So we can just compile it. And now we're going to set up so the game is over, and we do all the stuff, and it will display the HUD when the game's over. So to do that, all of this, we're going to again create a widget, and this time it's going to be the game over one. We are then going to add it to the viewport, make sure this is plugged, and then we need to make sure that our player does his death animation once he gets game over. So I'm going to drag in his mesh. I'm going to get anim instance. From here we can cast to the T-Rex animation blueprint that we made at the start of this. And then we can set his death. So I think I called it set his death. So then we can set this, set his death to true, and he'll do his dead animation. Then I'm going to have a small delay of around 1 second, and then we're going to set game paused, and this will just freeze everything. So I'm just going to check that, and now click compile. So now we just need to call this event, and it will make the whole game go game over. So now we're going to set it up so that when we overlap with one of our obstacles, it sets the game to be game over. So we just head over to this cactus blueprint. I can go on the box, and then on component we can overlap. Other actor, we're going to cast to our side scroller. Whoops, so I selected the wrong one. We want to cast to the side scroller character because that's the T-Rex that we're playing as. And then from here we can reference the custom event that we made, the game over, and just plug this in so that we can actually see that the characters overlapping the collision. We're just under the details panel, look for hidden in game, uncheck it, and click compile. And we can just copy this and put this in all our other ones because it's named box in each of them. So I'll just delete this and paste this, and then we're gonna look that we can see this in the game, so we can see when our character overlaps it. And I'll do this with the cactus one, so Control V to paste. I'll look for the box, hit it in game, uncheck it, and compile. And then finally I will do this with the raptor. Shoot. And then I will do this with the raptor. So Control V, look for the box, hidden, in-game, uncheck, compile. Let's test this out. So now when I click play and I'm running, okay, so seems that did not work. So I'm just to make sure that our character's overlapping it. So we head over to our edit, side scroll character, to his capsule component. We can look for hidden in game, uncheck it, compile and play. So it seems like we may be slightly missing it. So to adjust this, I'm just gonna make sure my character is in the center, and I'm gonna widen the collision of these boxes to ensure that they hit my dinosaur. So I'm just gonna make mine a bit bigger here. And I will speed through this. So we can test this out again. I'll click play. So when I hit the collision of it, I get game over. But I can't try and click retry. So we need to head over to the HUD and go to the game over. To the game over, what we can do is event construct. So this will happen the second that we show this HUD onto the screen. It will do this event. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for get player controller, and then of this we can set show mouse cursor, click check, and plug this in, and compile, and click play. If I run into a thing, my mouse is shown, and I can click retry, and then we have set up a simple mouse which shows. So now we can click retry and get our game over. So when we get game over, there's one more thing which we need to do. We need to get our character movement, and then we need to set the movement mode, and set it to none. This will make it so that our character can't move once he has died and gotten game over. So I'll just compile this and click play. So now my player can run. When he encounters an obstacle, he can jump over it and he can survive. And then if he fails and runs into it, the score stops, gets game over, and he gets game over. So I just need to adjust the height of the raptor, so because he was a bit low and we wouldn't have the option to really duck underneath him. So with control selected, I'm going to select these both and move them up a bit, and hopefully if the raptor appears I should be able to duck underneath it. Just realised there's one thing I forgot. When our character ducks, we need to make it so that his capsule goes lower so that he can duck underneath the bird obstacles. So to do that, we're going to click on our edit side scroll character, and we can head over to the duck script. And when he ducks, what we're going to do is we're going to get his capsule component, and then we are going to set capsule half height, and we're going to set it to a value of 200. So this will just lower it whilst he's ducking, and then we can just select this and paste it here, and then when he unholds the duck button, we'll set it back to be a value of 250. So I'll just compile this. So now if I click play, when he ducks, we can see it ducks underneath. So if another bird enemy comes, so when another bird comes, since I wasn't ducking, I die. So you may need to adjust the position of your bird so you can set up the ducking feature correctly. So now we have set up, I think we set up most of the features for our dino game. So now we're going to set up so that the camera doesn't move when we're jumping in the game. So if I click play right now, and my dinosaur moves, if I press the up key, my character jumps, but so does the camera. And we want it so that the camera doesn't move up when we press the jump key. So to set this up, we're just going to click on edit side scroller character. Then what we're going to do, event begin play, one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to get our spring arm, which has the camera attached to it, and then we'll just drag this in, and then we will look for detach from component, and this will detach it from our actor. So I'll just plug this in, and then location, we want to keep it world, keep world, keep world. This will just make it so that the camera stays in the position that it is in the world. And now if I click play, the camera's not attached to our character anymore, which is good, but we still need it to follow our player. We just don't want it to follow our player in the z-axis, and to do that we can use the event tick. So event tick, after we add movement input, we want to get the spring arm, and then we want to set the world location of it to be and then the world location we're going to set it to is, we're going to get the actor's location, so event tick, what we're going to do is we're going to set the spring arm to follow our player but not on the z-axis. So with this we're going to look for set world location, and we'll just plug it in, and the world location we're going to do is we're going to right click and get the actor's location. So we're going to get our side scroller's location. We're going to right click and split the structure because we only want to get the x and y value, and then we're going to make vector. So I'll look for make vector, and we're just going to plug in the x and y, and then just plug this in. So now I only get the x and y value of our game. So now I click compile and play. It gets the x and y, and now when I press jump it doesn't move, but the z value is a bit low. So what we can do is we can copy the z value of the camera in the game and go to the edit side scroller character, and we can just set the value to be 376, so it's kind of high. Now if I click play, my camera's at a nice location. It doesn't move when my character jumps up in the air, and now our camera's all cool. So next we'll set up a day and night cycle in our game. So in this default level, it already comes with a sun and a light. So we're going to make this rotate, and it will create a day and night effect. So the first thing we want to do is select this light source, and we can see rotating this in the Y, it can cast shadows and make it look like it's night. So we just want to have this selected, and then click blueprints, open level blueprint. Then we're going to right click and do event tick, and we're going to get the frames in our game. So off this we want to look for multiply float by float, and I'm going to create a new variable and call it speed, and we want to make this a float. So I'll make this float 100 so you can see it super fast, and we'll get it. And then we're going to right click and create a reference to the light source. So you want to make sure that you have that selected. So I'm just going to go back to my, and then from here we want to add local rotation, and we're going to make it rotate. So to make it rotate, we're going to right click and look for make rotator, and then we just want to plug this into the Y, as we want it to rotate in the Y axis, and then just plug this in. And then so that it updates the sun direction as well, we want to select this sky sphere blueprint, go back into our level blueprint, we can right click on this, create a reference, and then from here we can update sun direction and plug this in. So now if I click compile and play, we'll have a day and night cycle effect. So we can see it's happening super fast because I made the value quite high, 100. So I'm going to make this value like 5 and just leave it. So now we have a day and night cycle. So the last thing we need to do is set up a save system which will save the high score that our player has. It shows our score, but it doesn't show our high score, and if we die, it doesn't make our score go to our high score. So we're going to set that all up now. So I'm in the content folder, and what we're going to do is right click, create a new folder, and call this my save, as this will contain the save game. We're going to double click and open it up, then we're going to right click, look for blueprint class, and then under all classes we're going to just check this, and then we're going to search for a save game. I'm going to select it, and I'll call this my save high score, as I want this to save my player's high score. We'll double click and open it up, and then under the variables we're going to click this button, create a new variable, and I'll call this save high score, and we want to make this variable type a float, and then compile. So this will store the value of my player's high score. And now we're going to just click on the side scroller character, click edit side scroller character, and then event begin play. After we attach our camera and add our HUD to our viewport and set up the score system, we're going to now set up a save system. So off of set timer by event, we're going to look for does save game exist. So this slot name is going to be why I saved my game. So does save game slot name 1 exist? And then we're going to create a branch. So if we do not have a save game, then we're going to create one. So off of false, we're going to look for create save game object, and then we're going to select the save high score that we made. From here, we're going to cast to the save high score, and then as the save high score, we're going to save game, and we're going to save this to our slot 1. So it's the same. Does save game slot name 1 exist? If it doesn't, then we're going to create a save game in slot name 1. So if our save game does exist, then we're going to load game from slot. We're then going to cast to our save high score, and then from here we're going to get the save high score and set our high score to be this value. So now at the start of the game, it will set our high score. But now we need to set it up so that when we get game over, that it saves our high score to our save game object. So to do that, I'm just going to delete this. Sorry, I'm just going to move these two back as we are first going to set up our save. So the first thing we're going to do is get our score and get our high score. So if our score is greater than our high score, then we're going to save it to our save game. So I'll create a branch. So if this condition is true, then I am going to load game from slot. I'm going to cast to my save high score, and then I'm going to set my save game high score to be whatever my score was that round. So I'll set it, and then so that this is all saved, we need to right click, save game to slot. The save game that we're saving is the high score, so we'll just plug it in. The slot name we're using is slot 1. We can then plug this in and then set up our delay and then set the game to pause. However, if our score is not higher than our high score, then there's no need to save the game at all. So we can just skip and plug it in here. I never went over this in this video, but we can double click here and we can just move the stuff if we need to make it tidier. So I'm just going to compile. We can test this out. So I click play, I die. Okay, so it didn't, and my high score was 24. So it saved it. Yeah, so now if I get higher than 24, so let's say I get 64, when I retry, my high score is 64 and it saves it. So say I got 63, it doesn't overlap my high score, and now it's saved. So if I quit this and play. My high score is still 64 because that's what I got. So now we have set up our Chrome Dinosaur game, so congratulations. You may want to go through all the models again and then check it so that the capsule collisions are hidden in game. So click compile and make sure that the collisions for all your things are hidden in game so we can't see them. And now if you want to like export a game to share it with your friends and stuff, just go here, file, package project. So I'm in Windows, so I'm not for Windows. Just want to select it. Click desktop and select folder. Now the game will package and it will be exported and shared with your friends. So that's it. If you're still here, I'd like to say thank you. Also, could you give this video a like? It'll let YouTube know you enjoyed this video and share it with more people. I'm currently working on more content, and in January I'm going to make a course on how to make an old school retro FPS like Doom. To be notified about this, make sure you're subscribed or have joined the mailing list on my website. That's all for now, and see you next time. Bye.